Could music, rage, and civic action save our constitutional republic? What if a pop song and a protest sign hold the same power? Imagine a teenage girl stands alone at a street corner in a city simmering with political tension. Her sign is hand-painted, not printed, not slick, just black letters on cardboard that reads, quote, "Fix the system." Her stance isn't angry, but it's firm. She's not screaming. She's not blocking traffic. She's standing still like a stone in the middle of a storm, watching the world pass her by. Then a car rolls by, windows down, music thumping. Rihanna's "Only Girl in the World" spills onto the street, joyful, sensual, defiant. The driver isn't looking at the girl on the street, but they're both making a statement in their own way. One is calling out the failures of a broken structure. The other is refusing to let the weight of that structure rob them of their spirit. To the casual observer, this may seem like a contradiction, but in reality, it's a mirror. One reflects the exhaustion of a generation raised on broken promises and filtered truths. The other reflects the desire to escape, even if just for 3 minutes and 40 seconds, into a world where the beat is stronger than the burden. Both are expressions of the same thing: emotional resistance to an unresponsive system. And that's the story of America in 2025. Not a nation divided into left or right, but a society fraying at the edges from too much noise and not enough meaning. People are not just politically polarized, they are spiritually depleted. They scroll past outrage, they laugh to avoid crying, they vote, if at all, with more resignation than hope. But when you peel back the cynicism, you find something raw and real. You find people tired of being lied to, tired of being told to pick a side, tired of being told that feelings something makes them weak. This is the quiet revolution, maybe kind of loud, carried not just in marches or campaigns, but in playlists and protest signs. And in our constitutional republic, where the right to free speech and expression remains sacred, the cultural pulse matters. Because when the system fails to hear the spoken word, sometimes it's the rhythm of a song or the silence of a cardboard sign that breaks through.
In circles while politicians argue in marble halls. The fight for our constitutional republic doesn't happen in the echo chambers. It happens on the ground. It happens here. Every meme, every live stream, every post, we're fighting back with truth. Go right isn't just a slogan, it's a movement. If you're tired of the gridlock, the lies, and the chaos, this is where you belong. Go right with Peter Boykin.
Welcome back to Go Right News, where liberty still lives. Before we dive into the meat of what's happening in America today, let me welcome you back to Go Right News. And this is hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. If you're here, then you're already asking questions most people are too afraid to consider. You're not just looking for headlines. You're looking for answers, for clarity, for truth. And not the kind handed down from a government script or filtered through a social media algorithm. but the kind grounded in the principles of our constitutional republic. At Go Right News, we don't just chase clicks. We chase accountability. We lean right, but we never lean away from calling out corruption, even when it comes from our own side. We believe in lawful liberty, free speech, and the power of the people to reshape their nation from the ground up. So buckle up, because what you're about to read or hear is not just reporting, it's a reckoning. You can also read this on gorightnews.com as well, but thank you for tuning into this podcast. How digital warriors are replacing political machines. The energy on our streets is no longer confined to chants and marches. It's being channeled into systems, strategies, and screens. What many once dismissed as mere online noise has transformed into the backbone of civic activism. Gone are the days when protest means chaotic crowds or viral videos without structure. The modern civil rights movement is a coordinated engine of civic engagement. It is built through nonprofit coalitions, legal aid centers, grassroots organizers, local advocacy chapters, and digital platforms. These movements do not just appear. They are built brick by brick with strategic planning and constitutional protections as their foundation. These digital front lines of civic resistance, and now the new battlefield is in your pocket. More Americans get their news from a phone than a newspaper. Platforms like X, Truth Social, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, TikTok, and YouTube are no longer just for entertainment. They are the new town square. Just to recall a video I saw, and happened 30 years ago, where Bill Gates, and a lot of people don't like Bill Gates, but Bill Gates 30 years ago was talking to David Letterman, talking about the internet and how important it was, and people were laughing at the internet. They were laughing at, why don't we just use the radio? Why don't we use a tape recorder? Well, the internet can bring you a baseball game that you can watch at any time. And people are going to websites and shopping there. In 30 years' time, just how much things have changed. No one's laughing anymore. So, the internet is where Go Right News lives. We don't rely on corporate donors or party talking points. I mean, you can donate to us if you want to at $ Go Right News on Cash App. But we are tech savvy, fiercely independent, and unapologetically constitutional. We use phones, laptops, podcasts, live streams, memes, songs, and articles to amplify truth where mainstream media silences us. Every tweet, every stream, every post is a digital pamphlet for liberty, just like the ink-stained hands of patriots 200 years ago, 250, only now coded in HTML instead of quill and parchment. Elon Musk recently asked, how many times have you walked into a room and literally everyone was just staring at their phone? That's not a criticism, that's an opportunity. Because if everyone is looking at their phone, we have a direct channel to reach their minds. I don't have to wait for them to flip on their television or click on a certain channel. They're probably going to run against what I put out. The same device used to distract can be used to awaken. And while the left floods feeds with curated narratives, we flood them with clarity, facts, and fearless constitutional commentary. We meet the people where they are, and we bring the republic with us. Turning protest into policy, what begins online does not end there. Civil rights activists today are not content with likes and shares. They are registering voters, crafting legislation, attending city council meetings, and endorsing candidates who reflect grassroots values. And election season's right around the corner again, folks. In states across the country, protests have directly led to police reform proposals mandating transparency and accountability, finally focused education initiatives at school board levels, budget shifts towards local investment and infrastructure, Elected officials facing recall or defeat due to the pressure from organized civil groups. Can the Constitution still protect protesters who follow the law? I mean, a lot of people have this question about after January 6th. This is a participatory constitutionalism in action. It proves that when citizens act within the bounds of lawful liberty, they can shape policy, not through threats, but through persistence. And that is precisely what our constitutional republic was designed to protect. Is political discourse so toxic it's destroying the Constitution, you might ask? The streets may be organized, but the halls of power are more chaotic than ever. The tone of political leadership has turned bitter, and the consequences are real. A comprehensive study analyzing over 18 million tweets from political elites across the West revealed a sharp increase in toxic rhetoric, social issues, immigration, illegal or illegal, and the LGBTQ are topics that top the list of inflammatory content, especially among radical right and fringe radical left opposition figures. The authors found that this incivility spikes during off-election periods, when politicians believe no one's watching, and drops only during times of shared crisis. In the United States, ResearchGate confirms a 23% rise in incivility over 10 years among members of Congress. Political leaders are abandoning decorum in favor of virility, choosing inflammatory language that fractures debate instead of fostering. So has Washington forgotten how to have a civil debate? As a constitutionalist for liberty, I find this trend dangerous. The more our political elites shout past each other, the less room is left for meaningful deliberation. And when we lose deliberation, we lose the very character of our republic. And that puts civil rights discord at risk. Meanwhile, identity-based issues and social issues, once debated through policy, are now battlegrounds for clickbait. Rather than solution-oriented dialogue, we see wedge issues weaponized against entire demographics. And I've been saying it. I fight extremism on both sides. And I fight against generalization. I know sometimes I might feel inclined to do that as well, but I try to look at people as individuals. Civil rights becomes collateral damage in the war for retweets. Are we sacrificing individual rights for political theater? This is just divisive. It isn't. This is not just divisive, folks. It is destructive. The Constitution recognizes individual rights, and we lose on that, and we lose that focus. When we lose that focus, we lose our compass. So is anyone listening to the voters who could decide it all? I've been saying this for years. Amid this noise, there is a silent majority. Getting louder, folks. Being overlooked by both parties. Look at Elon Musk talking about trying to open up his own third party. Now he's upset at both sides. They don't chant at rallies or scream on cable news. Well, some do now. They just walk away from the system entirely. While the media obsesses over red versus blue, millions of Americans have walked away from both parties. Unaffiliated voters now make up one of the largest and most unpredictable voter blocks in the country, especially here in North Carolina. I think they're the largest group. And yet both major parties continue to ignore them. That's because the people who show up to local meetings, they're every GOP or Democrat, they're in their own world. They don't even understand the voters. These voters aren't apathetic. They're exhausted. They're sick of being told they must choose between a corrupt establishment on the left or a spineless echo chamber on the right, or vice versa. They want solutions. They want integrity. They want action. And most importantly, they want someone who sees them. I see you. Will either party wake up before it's too late? As someone who speaks with constitutionalist conservatives and moderates daily, and a few liberals, I can say this clearly. If neither party begins to engage the unaffiliated with transparency and real reform, they will lose not just elections, they will lose the country. Now shifting, a little bit different, folks. And this is something we've been doing here at Go Right News. Are pop anthems the soundtrack to American anxiety? Culture doesn't just react to crisis. It often predicts it. And right now, the music charts say more about American discontent than most pundits ever will. The genre once defined by Lady Gaga, Kesha, Rihanna, and Bruno Mars is booming again. Not because the economy is collapsing, but because the people feel like it is. I mean, it's really not. There's a lot of reports of Blue MAGA being Democrats who are now admitting that Donald Trump was right. And the economy's not that bad. Things aren't going to hell. But the music is different. And a lot of people still feel it. Streaming data from Luminite shows a 6.4% spike in recession-era pop music this summer. Social media reflects the mood with trends like party like you can't afford rent and escape through the beat. This is more than a vibe, it is a collective exhale from a generation weighed down by inflation, housing insecurity, student debt, and digital burnout. The United States may not be in a formal recession. It's not. We're always complaining about the economy. But millions feel the crunch of stagnation. Some people are trying to bring our economy back. Some people are trying to bring us back and help us out. So can dancing through the chaos be a form of resistance? Recession pop is not a warning siren. It is a release valve. Americans are dancing their way through the discomfort, refusing to let stress define them. That too is patriotic. That too is protest. And folks, Go Right News uses music to power the resistance. We play it in the background, and we play it in our podcast. In fact, I had one podcast that they tried to remove, saying there was too much music in it. I had to fight them on it because I said that is the way that I tell the news. It's new. A lot of people laugh at some of the methods that I use, but it's new, and I'm a pioneer. And have you heard this before? Music has always been a tool of protest, unity, and spirit. And at Go Right News, and hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin, we've embraced this power. For every article like this one, we're creating songs, real songs, not jingles, not background noise, some background instrumentals to keep you pumping. But these are politically charged anthems that carry the same message as you read here, translated into sound. So if you don't hear the sounds that are coming out of my mouth, maybe you can hear the sounds that are singing. Our tracks combine rock, house music, rap, and Americana, all sorts of other genres, to amplify our commentary. They are protest ballads, rallying cries, and sonic reminders that liberty is not just a concept, it is a movement. We release them alongside our articles to drive the message deeper, to reach people who might not read but will listen. This is cultural commentary turned into rhythm. This is protest turned into melody. This is hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin, fighting for liberty with every beat. We'll be right back, and you can listen to this protest song.
It's all real.
truth. The beats remind us we're the generation of proof. Pushing forward, never looking back. We're not alone, we're on the attack.
So turn it up, pick up the sign. It's our time to rise, it's our time to shine. Music, memes, and movements tonight. Go right, we'll fight through every night. Can a pop song be protest? You bet it can. Every beat's a middle finger to the man. We're dancing through the chaos, joy or despair. It's a revolution caught in the air. Song be protest, you bet it can. Every beat's a middle finger to the man. We're dancing through the chaos, joy or despair. It's a revolution caught in the air.
Welcome back, folks, and thank you for listening to that protest song. So is your summer playlist louder than Congress? This is the hashtag #GoRight Peter Boykin commentary. Let's be honest, if you walk down the street in America right now, you're more likely to hear Rihanna than Reason coming out of Washington, D.C. You hear music, you hear movement, but from Congress, static, gridlock, noise. And yet in 2025, that summer playlist blaring from a car window might be saying more about the state of our constitutional republic than any televised hearing ever could. Because while politicians bicker in marble halls, that teenage girl is standing on a sidewalk with a hand-painted sign that says, "Fix the system." While lawmakers posture on cable news, everyday Americans are live streaming school board meetings, registering voters, and holding up their phones like lanterns in the dark. And here's the truth they don't want you to hear. You and I are making more impact with memes and microphones than they are with their $1 million donors. It seems like every day they're just asking you for money, but where are they delivering? We are a nation that scrolls, swipes, and streams. And while the left floods the internet with identity-driven narratives, and the right often retreats into silence or chaos, we at Go Right News are meeting the people where they are in the palm of their hand. We use every tool they gave us: phones, laptops, podcasts, AI, hosts, live streams, memes, music, truth. We don't just comment, we confront. You want to talk about noise? The political elite, the elite political class, has created a circus, bread and circus, of toxic rhetoric. A study of over 18 million tweets from Western leaders shows an explosion in political incivility, especially around social issues, immigration, legal and illegal, and the LGBTQ. These aren't discussions, they're digital weapons. So if Congress can't speak with civility, what hope do we have for policy? And while that's happening, the largest and most powerful political force in America continues to be ignored: the unaffiliated voter. Especially here in North Carolina, we definitely feel the unaffiliated voter. These are the people who walked away from the party machines, not because they stopped caring, because they care too much. They're tired of being told to pick between a corrupted left and a collapsing right, or vice versa. They're not radicals. They're not bots. They are the future. And both parties are too busy playing games to notice. And a lot of times they're not even playing the same game, and they totally threw out sportsmanship a long time ago. So ask yourself, are the parties listening? Or are they just screaming into a void while the rest of us build something better without them? Now add this in. Recession pop. You just listened to one. A genre that screams joy while whispering despair. It's back. Why? Because people don't need a news anchor to tell them something's wrong. They feel it in their rent, in their gas tank, in their grocery bill, in their utility bill. They feel it in their bones. And they have to dance right through it. They dance through it. Because sometimes the only way to survive the weight is to move with it. Can a pop song really be a protest? You bet it can. Every beat is a middle finger to the system that told them to shut up and get it on. Every verse is a declaration that we're here. We're still here. Still standing. Still free. And I know you're hearing the Elton John. I'm still standing better than I ever been. All right, and while the bureaucrats mock this as noise, I'll say it loud and clear. It's not noise. It's a warning shot. When Congress ignores the people sing louder. When politicians bury the truth, we live stream it. When they ignore the unaffiliated, we organize them. And when they try to divide us, we remix unity with rhythm and resolve. This is not the silence of apathy. It is the sound of awakening. And if your summer playlist is louder than Congress, maybe, just maybe, it's because the people are finally starting to lead. So turn up the volume, pick up the sign, log in, speak out, and most of all, you guessed it, go right. God bless everybody. Thanks for listening to this podcast, and check us out on GoRightNews.com. You can donate at $GoRightNews on Cash App, and you can check out this podcast on Rumble.com and Spotify and everywhere else that you can find a podcast. God bless everybody.
Welcome to Right with Peter Boykin. If you walk down the street in America today, you're more likely to hear Rihanna than Reason coming out of Washington. It's a movement, while Congress just static gridlock noise. But here's the truth they won't tell you. Your summer playlist that's all blaring from the car might just say more about the state of our constitutional republic than any hearing ever could. While they bicker in marble halls, we're out here, hand-painted signs, live streaming and speaking truth. The politicians can't hear us, but we're hearing each other. We're taking back the narrative. We're building a movement on phones, memes, and truth. And here's the